Oh, praises to the Creator here. Oh, praises. And let's give the Creator thanks for providing us with choice. So, our Creator provided us with free will. Free will to choose. I don't know what I'm going to call this video, but yeah, I'm sure it's going to have something to do with choice or something like that. But I was thinking today, and I was doing so much deep diving and researching, and this realm we're in, this, what do I want to call it, situation when we're in, we're going through this because of choice and free will. And everybody has told you it's all about some magical tree and all these different things, and you got to eat this apple, and it's got to be a certain water. If you dip in the water, and if you got to use the blood and do this and plead the blood, dip in the blood and cover the blood with the blood. It is none of that. All that is fictional. All that is fictional. The Creator said, I teach righteousness. What is the right thing to do? But how do you know what the right thing to do unless you can compare it to what's wrong? You don't know. You don't know what's right until you compare it what's wrong. This is the knowledge of good and evil. And it wasn't a tree, y'all. There's no magic tree that got a magic apple or a magic grape. It's just all about what advice you're going to listen to. The choice. That's what this whole life realm is about. The choice. So let's go down the rabbit hole and hit the equator. And the disclaimer is the book changes when you read it in the Aramaic and you read it in the Paleo Hebrew, from the right to the left, without all the added vowels and the vowel points and this and that. The book is specific. You can't go to the left. You can't go to the right. There's no add-on. There's no second. There's either choose life or choose death. I think that's what I'm going to call this. Choose life or choose death. All right, let's go down the rabbit hole. Okay, to find a clear textual evidence across these specific historical manuscripts, we must trace the exact wording of the verses requested, and these are the verses, are all the things I requested right here. Y'all can screenshot it, and read it. Okay? So, in Deuteronomy 32 and Psalm 68 and 12, inheritance and proclamation. In the textual tradition of the Sefer and the Septuagint, that is early manuscripts, these passages detail how the Creator divided the nations how the Creator divided the nations but kept Jacob as a specific inheritance, accompanied by a proclamation delivered by a assembly of women. Yes, women. If you translate the book from the Paleo Hebrew and the Aramaic, you'll find out that the word house, bet, means woman. You'll find out that the word Jacob means woman. You'll find out that the word herald means woman. That changes how it reads. It also means woman somewhere else. Let's go find out. And in the textual traditions of the Sefer and the Septuagint, the early manuscripts, these passages detail how the Creator divided the nations but kept Jacob as a specific inheritance, accompanied by a proclamation delivered by assembly of women. You have to understand, people, and understand. Understanding means I just was watching this young man today and I can't think of his name. Understanding means I submit. He said the word understanding, when he translated the original word for understanding, meaning I submit to whatever it is you tell me. So when they ask you in court, do you understand? The true meaning is, do you submit to me? And if you say, yes, I understand, that means you submit to me. So when the Creator has said, I gave the house of Jacob the understanding in Psalms 147, it meant I gave the house of Jacob the ability to submit to my voice. Let's go. And y'all keep telling us we need to submit. We are. When you tell us not to listen to the Creator here, you're telling us we need to submit to you. You're telling us to go against the words of hell. When you tell us to submit to you, you're telling us to go against the words of hell. I'm going to say it again. When you tell us to submit to you, you're telling us to go against the words of hell. You're putting yourself in the position of the Creator. This is what you're doing. Sorry, y'all. I had to spray. Some mosquitoes came in here. But I have to keep my balcony door open because I have my porch set up as a potty station for my puppers. And I've already reached my limit of going outside downstairs today. So, sorry about that. So, I can only handle going down those stairs so many times a day. With my back the way it is. So because I can only handle so many times, I have to have my porch set up as a station for potty for my pups. Because if they need to go more than 3 times, that's all about how many times I can handle going down those stairs. If they gotta go more than 3 times, I'm screwed. And I only that's all I can handle. But I digress. Now the men have told the religions has taught us to submit to the power of man. They want a submissive woman. They want a woman who don't read the Torah on their own. They want a woman that don't pray to the Creator here on their own. They don't want a woman that researches. They don't want a woman that does that. They want a woman that waits on their man to tell them what the Torah and the Tanakh says, what the Paleo Hebrew says, what the Aramaic says, what Phoenician is. That's what the world wants. But unfortunately, because we have been doing that, look at the state of the world. Look at the state of the world. The whole world is in a state of war. Why? The children are dying in the street. Young men are being taken out left and right. The children are being sex trafficked. We're under an oppressive system that makes us work for free. We work for free. You do know you work for free because you go get a job. And I didn't hear this. I heard this from somebody else. You go get a job to work for a company, and then you go work for that company, and then take the money that you earn and pay it back to them. So you are working for free because you give it right back to them. The Creator had never told us to work for anybody. Go read the whole Torah, and it's not. There's nowhere where it says for us to go get a job. It's only in the New Testament that they teach you that you got to get a job. Everybody need to get a job and work for somebody else and be under bondage and be in slavery. In the Torah, in our original Torah, oppression, aka a person who makes you work for them and do not pay you the same day, is a slave master, and the Creator says those people are wicked and going to be dealt with and going to be wiped off earth. So anybody that forces you not to be able to choose whether you're a woman or a man, the Creator calls them an oppressor. So the men, these entities have taught the men to oppress the women, oppress the children. That's why the Creator in Malachi, in the last book, in Malachi 3, the Creator says, when I come for a visitation, I'm coming against those who oppress the workers, oppress the women, and who oppress the children. You do know what oppression is, right? I'm coming for them. It literally says workers, women, and children. If you're oppressing those people, I'm coming for you. So, I digress. Let's get back to this. Deuteronomy 32 and Psalm 68 and 12, inheritance and proclamation. In the textual tradition of the Sefer and the Septuagint and the early manuscripts, these passages detail how the Creator divided the nations, but kept Jacob as a specific inheritance, accompanied by a proclamation delivered by a assembly of women. Deuteronomy 32, 8 through 9. In the Sefer, in the Masoretic, when Elyon divided the nations, their inheritance, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Yasharel, Israel. And by the way, El Elyon is JC, aka Thoth. And the only reason I know that Thoth and JC is the same person is because that young man I talked about in another video. I will be given credit for the information that I learned from other people. So Thoth and JC and Lucifer is all the same person. All the same dude. All the same dude. So I learned that from this young man who has a lot of books. So that he gets and he reads them to people because he wants people to know the truth. Okay, so, but El Elyon, aka the Most High, that's what El Elyon translates to, the Most High. When the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, he set the bounds. And El Elyon, when it's the word, if it's El, that means that's an angel. So El Elyon is the highest angel. There's only one that is the highest angel. That's JC. That's Mastima. That's Thoth. That is the highest angel. He's letting you know I am the Most High. I'm the highest angel. There's only one angel as high as El Elyon. That is Michael. Michael and El Elyon are the two highest angels, except one angel is a protector and the other one is a trickster. El Elyon is the trickster. Michael is the protector. Okay? It's according on your choice. Which one's going to show up for you? Here it is. That choice is coming again. Like my sister Sheila says, no matter what you do, you're going to have, you're a vessel that's going to have to take in from something. You're a vessel that takes in from something. You only got two choices. There's only two choices. You hear that? Sound confirmation, there's only two choices. You can choose from the Creator head, or you can choose from the Most High, El Elyon. You can choose from either one of them. That's the great thing about our Creator. The Creator allows you to choose. Our Creator, I think they call our Creator something else. I call the Creator Heya. Why? Because the Hey means to behold, and the Yo means to is the power, and then the Hey means to behold. So behold the power, behold the creation, behold everything. So that's why I use Hey. You don't have to use that. You can use Yahuwah. You can use different things, whatever resonate with you. Some people use Ahaya. I use Heya. Why? I'm just speaking the closest to that I can find to the Paleo Hebrew. That is what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to outdo anybody or outstage anybody. It is just that's what resonates with me. Okay? And I've transformed through the time. If you go to my videos 2 years ago to now, you'll see that I transform. I transform. I'm transformed. I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm growing. Why? Because I'm learning more. I'm emptying myself out of the ways of the world. And I'm learning more. Because I'm learning more, I'm transforming. I'm transforming back into the vessel that the Creator had created me to be. But it takes time. It took time for them to indoctrinate us. So now it's going to take some time for us to unlearn all the wickedness that they taught us. Okay? That's happening. So you'll be like, well, 2 weeks ago you were saying this, and 6 months ago you were saying that. Well, a year ago you know why? Because I'm learning, and I'm emptying out of the ways of the world, and I'm filling myself with the walk and the talk and the ways of, and the ruach is now laying on me because I'm emptying myself out. You have to cleanse yourself of this world. You got to just start over, empty it out. So the ruach, they taught us how to take in the ruach of El Elyon right here. Now we got to take in the ruach of the Creator Heya. Okay? That's it. We got to fill our vessel with the ruach that we choose. And that's the great thing. You can choose whatever ruach that you want in you. You can choose it. It's up to you. You can choose it. You can choose good. You can choose the Baruchins, or you can choose the curses. It's up to you. So let's keep reading. So now that I broke down who El Elyon is here, why we here, all this doing, let's get the reading because this is going to be a long one. Get your tea, get your popcorn, and get ready. Okay. So when El Elyon divided the nations, their inheritance, he set the bounds of the people according to the numbers of the children of Yasharel. And El Elyon is a dude, not a woman, not female. For Yahuwah's portion is Yahuwah's people. Yaakov, Jacob, is the lot of Yahuwah's inheritance. The Dead Sea Scrolls, 4Q, Deuteronomy 4, and Septuagint. These ancient texts read slightly different at the end of verse 8. So the Septuagint and Dead Sea Scroll read this, stating the borders were set according to the numbers of the angels of G-O-D. G-O-D, a.k.a. Elyon, same dude. G-O-D. See, G-O-D isn't a creator. God is an angel. Gods are angels. Okay? The creator, Hea, is set apart and sovereign. The only creator. There is nothing above Hea. Okay? There's nothing above Hea. Hea is the beginning and the end, the first and the last, and the everything. Our everything. So it says the ancient text reads slightly different at the end of verse 8, stating that the borders were set according to the number of the angels of God. Agelo Theo, or sons of God, Bene Elohim. And the Bene Elohim are the ones that created in the first creation story. There's two creation stories, and a lot of people don't believe it. In Genesis 1, the Bene Elohim is creating in their intimate image, aka even JC, aka the Word, aka Elion, is there creating in the beginning. In the second creation story, when Adam and Eve comes along, that is the creator, Hea, creating in the creator's image. And what did the creator do? The creator took Adam, who was already created by who? Bene Elohim. Huh? No, I'm wrong. The creator took Adam and made Adam made Adam from dust, and then took from Adam and made Eve. Sorry, I repent for that. I said that wrong. I'm saying it right now. So in the first creation, the Bene Elohim made these people tom-tom. They were dual sex. That mean they what do y'all call the people now? The old word used to be hermaphrodites. The new word is intersex. So old school people, we know from like the 70s and 60s, and we know what a hermaphrodite is. But the new young generation, these people are called intersex. They have both sexes. They are male and female together. Okay? I know people like this. In fact, I was married to a guy who was intersex, but he didn't tell me. She didn't tell me till later. So that made that marriage. The marriage got annulled when I told. The marriage got annulled because the person didn't tell me. I found out on my own that the person was intersex. So that's real. And then I was married to another guy, and it turned out that he had Neanderthal DNA. Y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know I didn't think none of that stuff was real. You're looking at a person who thought everything was a fairy tale. I knew that there was a creator. I knew it had to be, but I didn't know when, what, where, now. But I was married to somebody who had Neanderthal DNA, and I was married to somebody who was intersex. He looked like a man, but he had both sexes. I'm not going to mention which husband that was. So I was married to a Neanderthal, and then I was married to somebody who was intersex. And then I was just married to an asshole. Okay, so. But I digress. Then it says, while maintaining that Jacob remains the Bene Elohim, y'all, which is the intersex people that is on the earth. This is how the intersex people came, through these people right here. While maintaining that Jacob remains the personal inheritance. Psalms. Tellium 68:11-12. Hebrew text. Sefer. Verse 11 explicitly reads, the Creator gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. In the original Hebrew philology, the word for those who publish and proclaim is Hemvasaret, which is strictly a feminine plural noun meaning the women who bring the good news. So the women who bring the Basor. There's even people teaching about a book named the Basor. Women who bring good news. Septuagint 67 and 12 translate this feminine assembly as the Creator shall give a word to them that preach glad tidings with great power. So we're going to preach so the women can preach. There it is right there. Women that bring good news. Them that preach, same thing. Verse 12, context. Kings of armies did flee of a space, and she that tarries at home divided the spoil. The she that tarried refers back to the female householder and collective assembly, dividing the spiritual and physical spoils of the word. So it tells you right there it's going to be the women who do this. Okay, keep going. Exodus 19 through 20. The house of Jacob as the women. The explicit link identifying the house of Jacob specifically as the women occurs in early Hebrew exegesis and textual critical commentary notes such as those found in the Stone Edition Tanakh, Exodus Shemot 19:3 text, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. Stone Edition Tanakh, commentary, Exodus 19 and 3. The commentary on pages 19 through 20 cites the classical ancient linguistic breakdown derived from the Malakcha de Rabbi Ishmael. So there is a book called the Malakcha, the rabbis or Ishmael. Malakcha is the women right there. So this is the women rabbis of Ishmael. That's what that translates to. The women rabbis of the house of Ishmael, the house of Jacob. These are the women to whom Moses must speak softly first, whereas the children of Israel refers to the men. Malacha de Rabbi Ishmael, Masekta de Ba Kodesh, Masekta de Ba Kodesh. Okay. 2. Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob. This refers to the women. Say to them in the Hebrew language, speak to them words of tenderness. This text confirms that the preliminary receipt of the covenant boundaries was directed to the women as the foundation of the home. Pay attention to this right here. Proofs in the Apocrypha, Pseudepigrapha, and the historical books. So I try to give y'all more than one witness. Why? Because I don't want you to be depending on one book, because one book says, I need y'all to go across time in different areas and look and find these truths. Because the truth is out there, we just have to search for it. A little here and a little there. A little in this book, a little in that book, a little in this book. That's why I listen to people who teach Egyptian history. That's why I listen to people who teach about the Ishmaelites. This is why I listen to the people who teaches about the Jews. This is why I listen to the people who teach about ancient history, the history of America, the history of South America, the history of Africa, the history of the Middle East, because in all of it, there is some truth. You just got to sift through it, a little here and a little there, a precept here and a precept there. It's there. You just got to sift through it. Okay? So, there's two sides to every story, right? There's two sides to every story. But in the middle meets the truth. Okay? In the middle meets the truth. It's always in the middle where the truth is hidden. There's the Egyptian side and there's the Bible side. There's the Ishmaelite side and then there is the Israelite side. You see what I'm saying? There's the Moabite side, okay, aka the Moors, and the Moabites, same people. There's the Greeks sides, that the Creek sides. You know, the Creek Indians and the Greeks are the same people. We just got to just get all the sides of the story, and the truth will be in the middle. Okay? Proof in the Apocrypha, Pseudepigrapha, and the historical books. Book of Yasher 88 and 63 through 64. Joshua 10:13 context. So there's a Jasher, and then there's a Book of Jasher, Joshua 10 and 13 context. There's two different books. Okay, details. The exact process of the sun standing still, written in the book of Yasher, were the collected family of Jacob. And it doesn't just say in this book right here, in this context of it, it says the reason why that's specific, because they gave us the sun stood still. But in this book, it says the sun and the moon stood still. Both did. So, details the exact process of the sun standing still, written, in the book of Jasher, where the collected family of Jacob executes the spoken command over creation. So it wasn't just Joshua. It was Joshua and the house of Jacob who did this, maintaining the original testimony without scribal alteration. It says the house of Jacob did this with Joshua. Joshua didn't do it by himself. In the book of Jasher, 56 Samuel, Davidic covenant context. So there's a book with Samuel Davidic context. It is different from the book the Samuel that you have. Highlights the song and direct prophetic declaration spoken by the matriarchs and the women of the tents when assigned boundaries or recounting historical trumpets. The book of Jubilees 22:11 through 15. Abraham Baruch's Jacob directly, assigning him the spiritual inheritance to keep the words of the Creator pure from the pollution of the nations. Ooh. The pollution of the other nations. We got to keep it pure from the pollution of the nations. And may he cleanse thee from all unrighteousness to keep the words of the covenant. The words of the covenant is justice, people. That's why I keep telling y'all don't know what justice is. Y'all don't want to know what true justice is. First Baruch 3:36 through 37. He hath found out all the ways of knowledge, and hath given it unto Jacob, his servant. So, and to Israel, his beloved. This demonstrates knowledge words being given explicitly as an exclusive inheritance. The truth will set you free. Apocalypse of Abraham 29 through 30 reveals the chosen of the set apart seed of Jacob to hold the divine testimony, distinctly separated from the nations ruled over by false deities and corrupt political powers. So these people are ruled over by what? False deities. They're ruled over by what? False deities. Testament of Solomon, while heavily focused on the suppression of elemental spirits and the structural operation, it highlights how true authority over deceptive spirits is tied strictly to the pristine names and lineages of the chosen inheritance rather than corrupt priesthoods. So, corrupt priesthoods does not help you. What help you is what? the true authority over that deceptive spirits. The Creator gave us power over them, over these spirits. But they done told us that we don't have power over them. Yes, we do. Why would hell put us here with them and then not tell us how to fight? How to fight back? Let's keep going. Second Ezra, 4 Ezra 6:54 through 59 explicitly addresses the inheritance. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord over all creatures. So Lord means master over all creatures. Of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O power, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, thou hast said they are nothing. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. Why are we given into their hands? It was our own choice. We did it to our own selves. We're no tree. It was a choice to listen to advice that will give you barukings or advice that will give you curses. AKA recompense, AKA karma. You said it. You put it out there. The words that you put out there create your environment. And you chose to do it. Hell put the choice into your hands. And I heard people say, "Oh, I wish the Creator didn't give us choice." I would never say that. I would never say that. I love the Creator that loved us so much that the Creator put in us the ability to make a choice. Do you know that the cryptids, those cryptids that the B'nai Elohim made, don't have a choice? These people that they made don't have a choice, but we do. You know why? That's why they hate us so much. You know that, right? That this creation, the Tom people, the people who are intersex, the people who are or hermaphrodites, you do know they don't have a choice. They live on instinct like animals, right? We don't. They live on instinct. What do they call them? The wild man? They live on instinct. Let's go. So we're given into their hands because we walked into their hands. You can walk out of the hands. You're like, no, we have to be saved by somebody. I'm going to prove you to you. That's a lie. That's a lie they taught you. You can walk away from it. You can. It's you. It's you. It's your choice. It's your choice to walk away from it. The hell gave us the power to walk away from this. All of it. Thank hell for that. I'm going to prove it to you. To examine the pristine text and preserve the linguistic weight of the mandate given to the house of Jacob, we look directly at the primary Hebrew philology and etymologic structures of the verses within the Hebrew Bible manuscripts, traditions. These terms strip away later traditional dogma and highlight the explicit feminine structural framing of those chosen to assemble, record, and proclaim the word. We were chosen to assemble, record, and proclaim the words of Creator Hell. Psalm 68 and 12. Hebrew text, verse 11. So in the Hebrew, it's verse 11. A symbol, simply of women heroes. This word is feminine. When you see the word heroes, that means women. Let's go. The exact Hebrew word used for the publishers or preachers of the word in this verse is grammatically female. Hebrew text, there's the Hebrew right there. So you can't say we didn't give it to you. So those people who can speak Hebrew or read Hebrew, translate it. Transliteration. Adonai yet or more. Had Vesat Sabado Rav. Linguistic breakdown. Hamas Versat Erat. This is the feminine plural particular of the root basar or basar, which means to proclaim news, to herald. The ot ending is exclusively feminine. Sabara translates to a great host, a vast army order. So we are a army of feminine women who proclaim news. Textual evidence, the literal grammatical construction of the text declares that the sovereign gives the word. The women heralding it are a vast assembly. It says the sovereign gives the word. The creator is sovereign and on the creator's own. The creator, there's nobody more powerful than the creator here, because the creator has two creation paleo Hebrew letters in the creator's name. The Hey, H-E-Y, the Yod, Y-O-D, and again the Hey, H-E-Y. Hey, Yo, Hey. Hey. Gives. Our sovereign Hey gives the word. The women heralding it are a vast assembly. The word herald means to what? Proclaim it. Isaiah 49. What? It says it somewhere else than just Psalms. Yes, it do. The feminine keepers and bringer of good tidings, just as the house of Jacob is spoken to as the women first at Sinai, Exodus 19:3, according to the ancient Malacha de Rabbi Ishmael. Isaiah reinforces this by addressing Zion and Jerusalem. Jerusalem uses specific feminine singular participle forms. Hebrew, there's your Hebrew right there. Transliteration, al, har, gabo, ali lach, ma, vasert, Zion, har, imi, vacho, kolech, my, vasat, Jerusalem. Linguistic breakdown, grammatically, a feminine singular imperative. Go up, you female. It says go up, you female. It says go up. This says go up, you female. It says this is the feminine singular particular participle form of the herald, the preacher. In Micah chapter 2, the Creator said, I did not tell the house of Jacob not to preach, not to prophesy. That's what it says. Micah chapter 2, the Creator, here, our sovereign, said, I did not tell the house of Jacob not to do that. The et suffix identifies the entity bringing and keeping the words as female. You know, the romance. Collect means your voice, utilizing the explicit feminine single possessive suffix. Textual evidence. The untempered Hebrew morphology explicit statutes. Get thee up into the high mountain, O women, herald of Zion. Lift up thy female voice with strength, O women, herald of Jerusalem. What that say? So this is what it actually say. I'm going to let you pause and think about that. And I'm going to take a little breath. That's what it say right there. Okay? Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 12:9. Kohelet. And they said that this word was pertaining to Solomon. Has nothing to do with Solomon. You can tell when you read that is a future prophecy in Ecclesiastes 12. That is not a den. That's a future prophecy in Ecclesiastes 12. The very name, it says Colette, as the female assembler and instructor. And I also know who this Colette is. I also know because the person is being named right in front of you. If you define the name, if you define this word right here in the Paleo Hebrew and the Aramaic, it literally tells you that person's name. The very name of the book and author, Kohelet, carries an inherent feminine grammatical structure that links directly back to the concept of the assembly or kahal. Hebrew, there it is right there. Boyata she heya koheleta chakam od lema de at et ha'am. Linguistic breakdown. Derived from the verb kahal, meaning to gather or assembly. So this person is a gatherer. The suffix et makes the noun grammatically feminine. It translates etymologically to she who assembles, or the female collector of the words, or the female collector of wisdom. So it's going to be a woman that does this. And she's going to collect all the books. She's going to put all the books together and get the truth out of it. Again, I state, there's two sides to every story. So I go through all and listen to all the teachings of all the different nations. And then in the middle, there is the truth. While later scribes use masculine verbs alongside it because they apply it to a male monarch, the text retains the feminine noun title Kohelet. Lemat de'at, meaning to accurately teach or instill knowledge. So this woman is going to accurately teach what the Creator had told us in the garden, and what the Creator had told us when we was in heaven before we came down here. Or what y'all want to call the mountain of the assembly of the gods, or the assembly of the angels, and then told us again in the wilderness, aka when Hale pulled us to the side and said, look, y'all, look, they're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. Here's the truth. Then Hale came back and told us again, with the prophets, and told us what the truth was again with Isaiah, told us again with Zechariah, with Ezekiel. And somebody called me today. Y'all have people check on me because my insurance pays for me to have medical. Um, I have someone come over every day to check on me, and to make sure I'm doing okay medically. Yeah, I got some of the best insurance. So I thank Hale so much for doing that for me, because Hale didn't have to take care of me like that. So they pay somebody to come over. They also, when my person leaves and goes home and clocks out, my my insurance pays somebody to call on me throughout the day. And I even have a computer and a button. So I have a computer that they can, if they don't hear from me by a certain amount of time, it will turn on and they can look in here and see what's going. They can look into my apartment and see what's going on. And then I have a button for emergency. So if I'm not home, I have a button. I can wear this thing and I can press it and it'll pinpoint where I'm at, and they can come help me. See what I'm saying? So I have that. I got help with me all the time. I got help with me all the time. The creator makes sure I'm taken care of. But the person who was assigned to check on me today called me today. His name was Ezekiel. And that made me go in and study hard today, because the creator said, I send my prophets day and night, and the creator sent Ezekiel in to check on me today. So that made me go in and study today. So I'm not digressing. I'm telling you how I got to this teaching today is because I got in the book and started studying again. And um and I came to this. I'm presenting you this information. But also earlier today, I was listening to two different men teach about Egypt today. And they had a lot of information, like a lot of information. And so I got the Egyptian side of the story. I got the Israelites side of the story. I got the Ishmaelite side of the story. I even had another guy was looking at getting the what do they call them? The wild men side of the story. The wild man, and then it was written down. It was even some people called the Chichamachas, Chichamacas, the Chichamacas. I even got some teaching about the Chichamacas today. Y'all, 8 whole hours of just learning, y'all, just learning what happened in history. And then who, like the Chichamachas, who they are, where they come from. I learned about where the Egyptians, who they are. I learned about um, um, the wild man. I learned about um, it was the Chichamacas, the wild man, the Native Americans. I learned about who they are. Um, I learned a lot of stuff. So I learned about why certain things were done. Um, Even why that these people from these other nations wanted to marry the daughters of Zion, the young, and they came after the young girls. They had to. They had to legally. They cannot own our land legally, but if they marry us and have children with us, they can have access to our land. So that's why they wanted to marry us. They had to come over here and marry us. They have to come over here and marry us and live with us and have kids with us so they can have access to land. If they don't do that, they cannot stay here. They cannot be on this land. That's why they marry us and have kids with us. Because then they'll say, well, I have kids here. I have kids here. I have my children here, and then the government will let them stay here. But if they don't have children here, if they don't have children with one of us that are original people from this land, they have to be removed from this land. And that's the loophole that they went through. Now, and I learned that today by watching, and I don't remember this guy's name. Hold on, let me see, can I find his name? He had a lot of information. He written a book on how they he wrote a book, y'all. He wrote a book on how they tricked us. How they tricked us into taking our land. This is how they tricked us by killing the men and marrying the women and having kids. And this is how they took our land. They know legally they can't legally if they take the land. If they take the land, then hell. But if we willingly marry them, they have access to a land. Where is my other phone at? Hold on, so I can. There it is. So I can get his name because I want to give credit to credit's due. Because I only learned this today from this guy. And y'all, this is going to be a long one because I learned so much information. So the reason I'm getting to this information is because I learned this from Hale directs me to which way I need to go. And I learned this today from this young man, and I'm assuming he's a young man. I figured these people are younger, way younger than I, because our old heads are still stuck on that bull crap about women shouldn't talk, women shouldn't talk, women shouldn't do it. And these guys don't seem to be on that time, so I'm assuming they're younger. I'm assuming they're in their 30s or something like that. But let me see, can I find his name really quick? Yeah, he had a lot of good information. He even wrote a book about how they lied to us. Let's see. Let me see. Yes, he had a lot of good information. Fine. Hold on, let me pause it. Okay, I'm back. I had unexpected company. I just left. Oh crap! What did I do with that note? Okay, because somebody gave me some information about another person I need to call. Okay, it was on my door. Okay, so another person I need to call about some. You see how y'all takes care of me, but put the note where I can find it so we can call. I can call this lady tomorrow. Anyway, trying to help me so I can do better. Help me with some things because I'm struggling with sit down, Bishop. I'm struggling with being able to walk up and down the stairs because I'm upstairs and there's no elevator, and I'm struggling with that, y'all. So this person is trying to get me some help. So because the thing that they put in my lower back when I broke my back, it failed. So it broke. It failed. So it failed, and so because it failed, I'm having some issues. So the screws broke, like the screws in it that they put in my back broke. So y'all, they're trying to help me figure this out. So lay down, poopy poops, lay down. It's okay. Don't get on me. Don't get on me. Lay down. You're 100 pounds. Lay your butt down over there. Okay, so like I said, I got some good people around me. I got some good people around me trying to help me. They're amazing. So the Creator brings me around to some good people. Now, let's get back to this. Linguistic breakdown derived from the verb kahal, meaning to gather and assemble. The suffix et makes the noun grammatically feminine. It translates etymologically to she who assembles, or the female collector of the words of wisdom. So this female collector of the words of wisdom, remember that. while later scribes used masculine verbs alongside it because they applied it to male monarchs. The text retains the feminine noun title kohelet, meaning to accurately teach. Lamad da'at, meaning to accurately teach or install knowledge. Textual evidence. In verse 9, the text underscores that Kohelet, the female assembler of wisdom words. So the text, I'm sorry, I just got a download. I'm sorry, I just got a big download. Okay. Whew. I'm not gonna be able to put that in this video, but I'll have to do when Haya tells me to do that, I will. But right now, wow. Okay. In verse 9, the text underscores that Kohelet, the female assembler of wisdom and words, was chachmam, wise and continuous, taught the people knowledge, weighing, setting in order, and compiling true words. This directly fulfills the mandate of the female Kohenis, Malachas, queen leaders of the house of Jacob, preserving the pure testimonies of the Creator. Heya. Structural and etymology analysis. The foundational mandate given to the house of Jacob. Oh, yeah. And oh, gosh, I listened to this beautiful teaching by this morning, early this morning, because I was up early, like 5 o'clock. And I listened to this beautiful teaching by, what's that guy to go roll the corn? We know the truth now. Oh, my goodness. He had a wonderful teaching this morning. It was amazing. Now, it was very powerful. The foundational mandate given to the house of Jacob focuses on a preservation structure led by women, Kohenis, Malachats, examining their Aramaic Targum, Paleo-Hebrew concepts. The textual variance reveals how the original language maps these roles. The exact spelling of Malachas in the Malahitas. Y'all, if I'm not saying this right, help me, correct me. In the early text, critical layers of the Malachidas de Rabbi Ishmael, specifically on Masechta de Kodesh, chapter 2, regarding Exodus 19:3, the Hebrew reads, Ko Tamar. That just reminds me of Tamar right there, y'all. Levet Yaakov Elu Hash Nashim, meaning thou excuse me, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, these are the women. When tracking the governance and royal titles of these women as rulers or queens, Malachas, the West Semitic, this is West Semitic. You got to remember that all of America was Semitic. There was the East Semitics, there was the West Semitics, there was the Southern Semitics, and there was the Northern Semitics. So in the north, aka what we call now Canada, the Canaanite mix of that mixed in with our people. And then over in the east you're gonna find, which in East America right now, you're gonna find what they call New York, all that, those places up there in the southern, all the way down to Florida. That's where you're gonna find Assyria. That's where you're going to find Rome. That's where you're going to find the Greeks. That's where you're going to find the Egyptians. That's where you're going to find the Assyrians. That's where you're going to find, and these are all Semitic people. The original Greeks were Semitic people, and the original Romans were Semitic people, but they were mixed with the Canaanites. Now, the Assyrians were full-blooded Hebrews. The Moabites started out full-blooded Hebrews, but the Moabites mixed with the Canaanites. And then you can find in the west side, you're going to find the other groups, the 10 tribes. You're going to find Ishmael. You're going to find it's going to be Ishmael. You're going to find Edom. In the west, you're going to find the 10 tribes plus, I keep saying 10 tribes. You're going to find that. And then the middle, you're going to, yeah, I said that right. In the middle, you're going to find the 2 tribes, 2.5 tribes. So the house of Judah and the house of Benjamin and the half house of the Levites, you're going to find them in the middle around here in what we call Utah and Colorado and all that. And originally all 12 tribes were together, but they split. And then the 10 tribes went to Assyria, which AKA we call New York and all that. New York all the way down to the Virginias, Tennessee, the Carolinas, all that. That's Assyria. And then if you go into Florida on down, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, all those, that's where you're gonna find the Moabites and the Ammonites and the Greeks and those people in the Bible. That's what they are. And but like I said, the Moabites and the Ammonites mixed in with the Canaanites, and the Canaanites were up in what we call Canada. That's why it's called Canada, because that's the Canaan. It's the land of Canaan. Canaanite, Canada, Canaan. Babylon is also on the other side. So the north west side of Canada is the Canaanites. If you go to the north east side of that is Babylon. So where the Tower of Babel and all that, that's in East Canada. Then if you go down, you're going to start hitting Assyria. You're going to start hitting all of that. I love that I know this. So now when I read the book, I know who I'm looking for. And I'm looking at, guess where what is that girl? That girl called me, she said I was a Ethiopian. She was like, she was calling me an Ethiopian. I'm like, I'm not no Ethiopian. Well, guess where the true, real Ethiopia is? That's South America. So when Hale said I traded Ethiopia for you, Hale's talking about South America. Those are Semitic people. Those are Semitic people as well. So that's going to involve your Almacs. And I just learned a new set of people. Levets, Lachets, or something like that. So those are Semitic people. They're not Hamites, they're Semitic people. All down in South America, down there, those are Semitic people. They are Shem's children. So, but as we know, Esau mixed in with the Canaanites, and so did Ishmael. Mixed in with the Canaanites, and that's where you get your Arabs from. That's where you get your Moroccans from. That's where you get those people from. They mix in with the Canaanites, and we know that the Canaanites are Hamites. And I hate teaching this because that's why they was trying to call us African Americans. That's why they was trying to call, y'all do know that's why they was trying to call us African Americans. But not all of us are mixed in with Canaanite. That's the problem. They try to call all of us African Americans. Not all of us mixed in with the Canaanites. Some did, not all. Some. So we know that. Let's break that down. Some of Ishmael, not all of Ishmael, mixed in with the Canaanites. Some of Esau's children mixed in with Canaanites, not all of them. Some of the Egyptians, aka some of the Egyptians, aka not all Egyptians, some of the Egyptians mixed in with the Canaanites, but that was after a while. It wasn't in the beginning. It was after the while. So some of the Egyptians mixed in with the Hamites. Not all of them. Not in the beginning, people. So don't sit here and say I'm saying all Egyptians mixed in with Ham. No, they did not. Excuse me. At a later date, they got mixed in with us. And this is why the Creator said our numbers won't be that big anymore, because they're gonna try to they tried to breed us out. That was actually done on purpose right there, when they took us into slavery, and but some of us still remain separate from us. Some of us are still full-blooded Hebrews. There are still full-blooded Hebrews walking around here. Even Walter Plecker said that there was full. In 1924, Walter Plecker said that there was Hebrews who would not mix. We fought to the end where we wouldn't mix. Okay? There's Hebrews that wouldn't mix. Okay? Okay, so I'm sorry, I had to get something to drink. My throat was all scratchy for a minute. Take one more sip. I got me some pineapple juice. I love pineapple juice. Oh my goodness, I love pineapple juice. But anyway, the West Semitic. So I broke down the West Semitic for you. So why it's specifically saying the West Semitic in the Aramaic text? Because there's different the people and I understand that who the people call Egyptians. There's no such people as Egyptians, but that's the name that they named them now. So since the word no Egyptian, I gotta say Egyptian. But these are Abraham's sons from his second wife. And I don't know what their names were, but they were not Egyptians. They had a different name, and they were kings. All Abraham sons were kings. All Abraham grandsons were kings. They were all kings. We were all kings and queens. We was kings and we was queens, as they say. So we're Abraham's seed and Sarai's seed, and Sarai's seed was the priest, and Abraham's other kids were kings. So, but Sarai kids were the priests. So, so the reason why I broke all this down, so you can have a visual, of when you're reading, you can know what you're looking at. So when it's talking about the Egyptians, you know that those are not Hamites. You know that is Semitic people. And you know those were Abraham's children from his second wife. When you hear about the Israelites and the Jacobites, you know that the Israelites are the children of Rachel and Leah and Jacob. And when you hear the Jacobites, you know that's the female children of Rachel, Leah, and Jacob. Okay, so you hear Jacobites, women. Israelites, men. Now, when you be able to read the books, when you go in and study to show yourself approved, because don't believe me, go into the word and study for yourself. It will show you who the Creator's speaking to. And when you go into this in the Paleo Hebrew and the Aramaic, and Phoenician can help you too, because Phoenicians are basically the language that you get from the Moabites or the Moors. That Phoenician is the mixture of the Canaanite and the Hebrew together. So when you see Phoenician, that is Hebrew with the Canaanite. Then when you see Aramaic, that is the children of Abraham and Shem, who are cousins to the Hebrews. But we're all Shemitic, we're all Hebrews, okay? But some are mixed Hebrews and some are full-blooded Hebrews, okay? So that's the best way I can put it. Oh, I think she left her thing here. She did. Put it over here so the dog won't chew it. Okay, my caretaker left her charger thing here. She'll get it tomorrow. But I digress. So this is why I broke all this down. So when you read this stuff, you will know what you're looking at. It makes much more sense. It makes it make sense. You don't have to make it make sense. It will make sense. Okay. So I digress. So the Hebrew Aramaic spelling, singular Malketa or Malikchat, Malakchat or Malakta. Plural is Malkavata or Malik chats with an S. So the root is MLK, like Martin Luther King, MLK in Paleo Hebrew pictograph. So when you hear MLK, that is the female priest, the female queen priest. This is Mim, water, Lamed, staff, authority, Kaf, open palm to cover. The word literally translate to the extended hand of the authority that channels the living waters, the word. So when you see water in the book, that is the words of the Creator. Here, the Aramaic Targum translation, the Aramaic Targum Onkelos, Targum Jonathan, and Targum Psalms. Translate these verses by emphasizing the legal assessments and the identity of the announcers. So the Creator has announcers of the laws, statutes, commandments, and the true words of the Creator. Yeah, the Creator inheritance, Jacob, announces the word. The word, okay? The words. The creators picked the house of Jacob as the inheritance that will teach or announce the words that the Creator, Yah, is downloaded into us. So, the Aramaic Targums, we read that. Targum Onkelos, Exodus 19:3 explains that Moses was commanded to speak to the house of Jacob using soft, gentle language suitable for instructing the foundation matrix, the woman who governed the domestic sanctuary. Targum Psalms 68:12, Aramaic verse 11. Aramaic text transliterates Adonai, Yohav, Mitlata, Limvers, Vasaran, Chila, Sagaya. Translates, the Creator gave the word to the women who evangelize, herald, Limversaran. They are a great force. The Targum retains the clear, explicit feminine full marker, A-N, for the heralds. Paleo Hebrew versus Imperial Aramaic meaning. The shift from physical, concrete Paleo Hebrew pictographs to the structural, abstract Imperial Aramaic shapes highlights the functional mechanics of these terms. House, bet, yod, tall, meaning the physical framework where the hand preserves the covenant signs. So the house. Imperial Aramaic extract, legal lineage, tracking, a building, a designated school of thought. So the house is the school of thought. Preachers, the herald, bat, shin, teeth, press, consume, resh, head first, meaning the primary head of the household
who presses out or releases vital tidings, to proclaim good news, to publish written edicts, or to function as an official messenger. So they are these people are the messengers. Remember, the Creator says in Malachi chapter 3, I will send my messenger. So who's the messenger? Right there. Kohelet, horizon, gatherer, gatherer. Behold, reveal. It says Quaff He Lamed, horizon gatherer, behold, reveal, staff, tall, covenant sign. Meaning the feminine entity gathering the covenant sign under high authority. Oh wow. Wow. If you just don't know. Wow. Okay. Later date. And I just got another download. An office, a speaker in an assembly, a complier of physiological wisdom. So this person is a complier of physiological wisdom, and this person has the highest authority from here to do it. That's what this word means right here. House variations, Ecclesiastes in Zechariah 3, the word for house, bayet, bet, shifts contextually within Ecclesiastes and Zechariah 3 to mean a spiritual vessel, a protective order, and a literal lineage of those standing before the Creator. So the Creator says there's only going to be, in Ezekiel, I think chapter 44, it says that only the house of Zodok will be able to stand at the table of the Creator here, stand before the Creator, and receive the word out of the Creator's mouth. It will only be people from the house of Zodok. And then it says, I think that's Isaiah 2, that the Creator says, I'm going to restore your judges and your counselors. I think that's Isaiah 2. So Ecclesiastes Kohelas, Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Linguistic layer. In Paleo Hebrew, the keepers of the house are the defense walls and spiritual operators. Ecclesiastes uses bayet here, not just a wooden structure. Y'all, do you know this means the women, the daughters of Zion? When you hear bayet, that's the daughters of Zion. But Benay is the men. Bayet is the daughters. And I love that I'm learning Hebrew and Paleo Hebrew and Aramaic. I love it. So when I see something, I know what it means now because I've been studying it so hard. But as the physical body and the immediate sanctuary of the wisdom managed by Koheleth, the female assembler, Ecclesiastes 7:2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than go to the house of feast. Linguistic layer. BX act as a dimensional state of being or assembly. The women Kohelet governs these houses by teaching the living how to weigh the words of life and death. Zechariah 3. Zechariah 3 and 7. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house. Bayet, and shall also keep my courts. Linguistic layer. Here, Bayet, my house, signifies the pristine priesthood and the legal cosmic assembly. The text sets a requirement to govern this house. One must protect the laws from scribal corruption. The filthy garments connection, Zechariah 3 3 through 4. Joshua, the high priest, is seen standing in filthy garments. The removal of these garments and the restoration of the fair Maratha symbolize stripping away the counterfeit traditions introduced by corrupt scribes, returning the custody of the house back to the chosen lineage of Jacob. 1. Paleo Hebrew letter strokes for Kohelet. The title Kohelet is written in the original Semitic script using 4 distinct pictographic symbols. In the ancient worldview, letters were physical blueprints representing actions and functions. Quav, He, Lamet, Tav. Picture of the sun on the horizon, meaning to condense, gather. A circle with a line through it. A circle with a line through it. Isn't that what he was? Who was teaching that today? Who was teaching that today? The circle with the line through it. I think that was We Know the Truth. The guy that says Rose the Corn. I think he was teaching that today. He was teaching about the circle with the line through it. A circle with a line through it, or back of the head, meaning to condense, gather, circle, or compress a large space into a focal point. Picture of a person standing with raised arms, meaning to behold, reveal, breathe out, and draw attention to an open mouth. Picture of a shepherd's staff or an instructional crook, meaning authority, direction, teaching, or guiding a collective flock. Tall, picture of 2 cross sticks forming an X or a T, meaning a mark, a sign, a boundary, or a sealing of a permanent covenant. Combining pictograph translation. Kohelet acts functionally as the authority that gathers and compresses the flock to behold and reveal the permanent sign of the covenant. The trailing Tav solidifies this title as a grammatically feminine protective entity that seals the the words. So this is an entity. These people are an entity. So Zechariah 3 and 2 second Esdras, restoring the court boundaries. In Zechariah 3 and 7, the mandate states, if you will walk in my ways, then you shall also judge my house, and shall also keep my courts. This instruction aligns with the restoration accounts in 2 Esdras, 4 Esdras 5, 23 through 27, which strips away political theology to highlight the isolation of the chosen lineage. 2 Esdras 5, 25 through 27. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled the one river, and of all the multitudes of the people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And unto this people, whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. So he gave us a law that is approved of all. The blueprint, the courts, and the house mentioned across these texts are not physical stone buildings constructed by empires. Isaiah 66 says, you can't build me nothing. I own everything. They are the structural legal assemblies of the chosen seed. And that right there, who is the chosen seed? The corruption guard, 2 Esdras 14, 21 through 22. directly highlights the removal of the corrupt scribal structure. And by the way, men don't have the seed, women have seed. Women have seed, not men. Men have fertilizer. The women have the seed. Y'all have fertilized. Y'all fertilize the seed. But y'all don't have the seed. The women have the seed. Y'all fertilize the seed. The corruption guard. That's what husbandry do. You go out there and you plant. You go out there, the seed is, you put the seed in the ground and then you put fertilizer on it. You fertilize it and you water it. But you don't have the seed. The seed is outside of you. The corruption guard, 2nd Esdras 14:21-22, directly highlights the removal of corrupt scribal structures, noting that the original law was burned and corrupted, requiring a pristine rewrite by chosen scribes who act purely as listeners and recorders, free from external political manipulation. And me and Sister Terry and Sister Dominique and Sister Sheila were speaking about it, and the rewriter, we believe that is Sister Sheila. We believe that's Sister Sheila, because Sister Sheila keeps telling us that the Creator has told her to write a book. So I believe she's going to be the rewrite of, oh my goodness, I just got another download. Oh, I can't wait to talk to them on the Sabbath. I just got another download. Oh my goodness. The syncretism of the witnesses, Zechariah, Isaiah, and Micah. So let's talk about the witnesses now. So I'm going to give you proof of these things. So I just don't talk to you all. I give you information. I give you ways to track this down. This is why I'm telling you about we know the truth now. The guy that says roll the corn, he did a teaching today. And then the guy the signs of the time, he did a teaching today. And then this other guy, I got to remember what his name was. Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh, and I got distracted. Hold on, let me see, can I find it? I got distracted twice too. Let me see, can I find his? And he wrote a book. He even has a book written about how they lied to you. Something about the lie. Hold on.
These are all houses. We've been working here for 3 weeks. Can you go to the other side so we can sleep?
Let me see. I think I screenshotted it because I knew I wasn't going to remember. Is this it? No. There. Hold on. Let me see. Maybe it's down here. So, okay, I learned about the Leventus. Go look up the Leventus. It's LA capital VENTA. So go look those people up. I learned that from who is this? The signs are for the times. I think that's his name. The signs are for the time. I think that's his name. So, but the other guy, I thought I screenshotted some stuff from him today. This guy earlier. Maybe I didn't. Oh, signs are for the conscious mind. So signs are for the conscious mind. Sign is for the conscious mind. He did a good teaching today, y'all. Teaching about, and I think yesterday too, about Egypt. And I give my sources because, like I said, you need to know both sides of the story. The other guy, I don't think I thought I screenshot, but he has a book and it's called Somebody's Line or something like that. I think it's called Somebody's Line. It's on Amazon. Let me see. Can I find it on Amazon? Yeah, it's called Somebody Is Lying. Or is it Somebody's Lying? Let's go to shopping. See, can I find it? So when I see the picture, I know which one it was. It's not one of us is lying. It's somebody is lying. Somebody lying. I think that's what it's called. It might not even be somebody is lying. It might be somebody's lying. It's about American history. Well, I don't see it. Oh, man. No, I don't see it. So I'll get him later. Let me see. Let me go back over here. I know I want to cite my sources.
Hold on, bro. They found what now?
Okay, I found it. Somebody's been lying. That's what it's called. Somebody's been lying. So I'll screenshot it and show it to you. It's called Somebody's Been Lying. By Rashad the Poet. That's what it is. Rashad the Poet. Oh, he has some great. It's RASHAUDPOET. Somebody's been lying. So, and it tells you all the lies they told you about in all the lies they told you about American history. Okay, so you can go find his book on Amazon. Somebody's been lying. That's what it's called. Somebody's been lying. So I'm citing my sources so y'all can go find this, because like I said, you need both sides of the stories. You need all the books. You need all the information. And then if you get the information from the right hand and the information from the left hand, it says in the book of Zechariah in chapter, I believe it's chapter 8, about the left and the right. You need the left and the right. You need the information from the left and the information from the right. And it talks about the left and the right in the apocalypse of Abraham. It talks about the people from the left hand and the people from the right hand. So the people from the right hand are from the creator Hea, and the people from the left hand are from the B'nai Elohim. Okay? So yeah. So I found it. So I told her to not can move on because I cited all my sources. Okay. Plus all the books that I've read. So I don't just sit here and just, oh, somebody said this. No. There's books that are out there, and there's books that you cannot find anymore that I've read in the past that they have taken out of the Library of Congress. They're deleting they're deleting these books. So if you have an opportunity to go read a book, read it now, because you can't even, the Stone Edition, not, they won't even let you read it online anymore. They took it down. They took it down. So if you don't have one at your house, you're not going to be able to read it. So let's go. So let's talk about the synchronism of the witnesses, Zechariah, Isaiah, and Micah. Your assets connects these seemingly separate prophetic visions into a singular functional matrix. The vessels contain the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. The 7 lampstands, Zechariah 4 or Zechariah 3 context, and the 7 trees in Isaiah 41 and 19. And the reason why it says Zechariah 4 and Zechariah 3, because some books is in Zechariah 3 and some books is in Zechariah 4. So it's according on which translation you have. The 7 lampstands and the 7 distinct trees, the cedar, the acacia, the myrtle, the olive tree, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box tree, represent structural complete system of witnessing. Did you hear that? Didn't I tell you that it was 7 witnesses? Didn't I tell y'all that? It was 7. It's 7. Y'all kept telling me for the longest there are 7. They are planted in the wilderness. Remember the song with Prince? Oh, 7, and we'll watch them fall. They stand in the way of love, and we will smoke them all with the intellect and the savoir-faire. No one in the whole universe will ever compare. I am yours now, and you are mine, and we'll stand together through all space and time. So don't cry. One day all 7 will die. That's what that is talking about. They are planted in the wilderness to prove that the preservation of the word does not depend on established imperial cities or corrupt temple networks. So the cedar, the acacia, the myrtle, the oil or the olive tree, the fir, the pine, or the box tree, this 7 or the 7 lampstands, they are planted in the wilderness to prove that the preservation of the word does not depend on established imperial cities or corrupt temple networks. They are structural vessels rooted down into the earth to hold the living water, serving as matching multi-layered testimonies of the original spoken word. Who was talking about density? Somebody was talking about that gravity is fake, that it is density. And they learned that different people have different densities. And they found out that we are rooted in the heaviest densities, the so-called American copper colored people are rooted in the heaviest density. And when you're rooted in the heaviest density, you're connected to the earth itself. We're connected to the earth because we're rooted in the heaviest density. Okay? So let's read that again. They are planted in the wilderness to prove that the preservation of the word does not depend on established imperial cities or corrupt temple networks. They are structural vessels rooted down. We're rooted down into the earth to hold the living waters, serving as matching multi-layered testimonies of the original spoken word. The mustered troops of Micah 4. Micah 4:13. Arise and thresh, O daughters of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoops brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people. In Zechariah, it talks about how the house of Judah was led away by 4 horns. And now we're going to be brought back by an iron horn of the daughters of Zion. And I will make thy hooves brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people. The mustered troops are explicitly addressed to the daughters of Zion and the daughter of Jerusalem. This mirrors the feminine herald network that Ham Vazart of Psalm 62:12 and Isaiah 40:9. They are gathered as an orderly assembly, a Sabbath, to execute judgment against altered records and external nations. Hallelujah. The rule of witnesses, Deuteronomy 19:15. Deuteronomy 19:15. At the mouth of two witnesses or at the mouth of three witnesses shall a matter be established. Do you see that? There has to be witnesses. And the Creator says in Isaiah 44, what? House of Jacob, or these witnesses over here in Deuteronomy 19. It says, at the mouth of two witnesses or at the mouth of three witnesses shall a matter be established. The convergence of Kohelet, the female assembler, the 7 trees, and the 7 lampstands, and the troops of the daughter of Zion fulfills this strict legal requirement. They provide independent structural verifications across multiple eras, proving the true timeline and pristine instructions without relying on external scribal edits. Isaiah 44, the house of Jacob as the listening vessels. Isaiah 44, 1-2. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant. Linguistic mapping. The term servant, evad. Oh, wow. Sound confirmation. Evad. In this ancient context, do y'all know about sound confirmation? If you're saying something that was put in your mouth by the Creator, a sudden random sound will happen, like something will fall, make a loud noise in the background. When you're saying something that was given to you by the Creator, the angels will make a sound for you. The angels will send a sound to make sure to let you know, hey, get attention, pay attention to that thing that person just said. So that's sound confirmation, just like the Creator sends numbers to get your attention, like 444, 333, 1234, 777, 888, 999, 666, all that, right? To get your attention, 1111. Like, you see those numbers, that is the Creator trying to get your attention. And those are actual scriptures in the Paleo Hebrew, or scriptures and words. So you go and look those up, and then you look at the main word, the noun, and you look it up, and you'll see what the Creator's saying to you when you constantly seeing certain numbers like 444. 444 is Isaiah 44:4. That is the house of Jacob. Isaiah 44:4. That's the house of Jacob. Okay. Isaiah 333 is Jeremiah 33:3. Call on me, it says, and I will answer you. That's that's Jeremiah 33:3. You see what I'm saying? So when you see 1, 2, 3, 4, that's Joshua. That's Joshua. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Joshua. Joshua was what? Salvation. I am bringing you salvation. Okay. So the term servant, evad, in this ancient context does not imply a lower tier of bondage, but defines a custodian or authorized listener. So the house of Jacob are not a lower tier bondage, but it defines a custodian of authorized or an authorized listener. According to the Malacha de Rabbi Ishmael framework from Exodus 19:3, the house of Jacob, the women, the Kohanis, the Malachas, are the preliminary listeners. A vessel can only hold what is carefully received without adding or subtracting. So the Creator said, don't add to, don't subtract. Everybody else that came along did that, did exactly that too. But acting as the pure listeners of the word, this collected house forms the physical and spiritual container of the Ruach HaKodesh. They filter out the alterations of the text, meddling scribes, keeping the core testimonies unpolluted by external national deities and modified theological terms. Now, the 7 trees of Isaiah 41:19, Aramaic and Hebrew roots. In Isaiah 41:19, the Creator promises to plant 7 specific trees in the wilderness. When we strip away traditional allegories and look at the Hebrew Aramaic roots, these trees represent structural vessels designed to endure harsh elements and protect the living waters. Knowledge. These some strong trees, y'all. These are gonna be some strong women. They're gonna be headstrong women. You're not gonna be able to knock them down. I don't care what you do to them. So, the first word is Ezra, cedar. So the first tree is the Ezra tree. To be firm, compacted. Paleo Hebrew means the head, boundary of strength. It represents unbreakable structural pillars that do not rot. The cedar tree does not rot. The acacia tree, from to pierce, scourge, a thorny wood used exclusively to build the Ark of the Covenant. It acts as an impenetrable shield that drives away pest and corruption. The myrtle tree, hadass. I can't say this word. Shittah. I think that's what it is. Shittah the acacia. Well, we're going to do the hadass, myrtle. From the spring up covering, it represents a dense, protective canopy that stays vibrant and green regardless of the external climate. So it can go through any climate. The Etz, Shema. Do y'all know what Etz mean? Do you know what that word is? I'll show you later. The Shema, oil tree. That right there. Remember that right there. That right there. That means something. That word means something. Okay. And I'm going to give credit due. The person who told me what this word right here, ETZ, really means was Ayob Nazir. Ayob Nazir. I give credit to him. He posted it what that word really, truly meant. It changed how I read the whole Torah. When he told me what this word truly meant. Okay, so let's keep going. From to shine, press out essence. The root signifies the physical container that yields illumination and fuse the lampstand. So this tree is going to illuminate and give fuel. It's going to fuel. Okay, so now we're going to go with the fir cypress trees. So Berash, I think I'm saying that right. From to cut into select, known for its musical resonance. It was used to build the floors, doors, string instruments of the sanctuary. So this is the tree that builds the instruments that makes the sound that we love. The Tidhar, pine, the box tree. Pine tree, y'all. And y'all know this pine trees are in America. They're native to America. To move rapidly, endure, represents structural flexibility under pressure. It bends but never snaps during a tempest. Ooh, it cannot be bent. And T-shirt, box or cedar tree. To strengthen, go forward. represents direct uprightness, setting an uncompromised line path in the wilderness. You see the tree is the biggest tree, the strongest tree you're going to get. These 7 trees form a defensive barrier around the house, ensuring that the hidden resources cannot be reached or dried up by outside forces. And Isaiah 41 says, I'm going to place these 7 trees in the wilderness, and I'm going to pour my rain on them. Micah 4, the daughters of Zion, assembling troops. In the Sefer, Micah 4:13 bypasses standard religious interpretations and frames the daughter of Zion as a strategic commander mobilizing a defensive force. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto Yahweh, and their substance unto the Creator of the whole earth. The armor transformation. The text explicitly details a structural transformation where the female collective is equipped with elements like iron and brass that mirror the heavy metal compositation of ancient giants and empires. The command structure. The daughters of Zion does not hide. She stands at the center of the threshing floor. Goran. In ancient strategies, the threshing floor was the highest legal and military assembly point where chaff, corrupted edits, nations was separate from the pure seed. So the pure seed stays separate from the corrupted nations. We talked about this in Ezra 9. Some woman kept asking me if my mom is of another nation and my dad an Israelite. Am I Israelite? I kept saying, no, you're not. It has to be, the woman has to be from the house of Jacob and the man has to be from an Israelite in order for you to be the set apart seed. You can't have half. If that's the case, in Ezra 9, the Creator told them to put away their wives and the kids. The Creator says the same thing in Nehemiah chapter 9. Put away these women and their children. So they can't be Israelites. If that's the case, they would have kept the kids and got the woman away. The Creator told the women and the children to go away. Go back to your country. Go on over here somewhere else. Go on back to your land. Gone. Go read Ezra 9. The Levites married the other daughters of the other nations. The Levites did it. And the Creator said, those are not my people. So you can argue that out. Well, one of my parents is a Levite and one of my parents is, no. You have to have a Jacobite woman and a Levite man. They have to be Hebrews on both sides. Or you don't know. So you can let that go. That lie they taught you. You got to remember they lied. You think they lied about one thing, they lied about everything. What the God book is, somebody been lying? Ain't that's the name of his book? Somebody been lying. The daughter, the command structure, the daughter of Zion does not hide. She stands at the center of the threshing floor. Goren, Goren. In ancient strategy, the threshing floor was the highest legal and military assembly point where chaff, corrupted edits, nation was separated from the pure seed. Second Esdras and the vessels of souls. In the text of Second Esdras for Ezra, the term vessel of soul by Basa Anna Morum defines the exact physical and spiritual containers that store the true words until the timeline is fulfilled. So there's going to be a timeline until it's fulfilled. The Creator gave us 1,000 lifetimes, 1,000 generations to get our shit together. Okay? 1,000 generations. Second Esdras 4:35-36. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask questions of these things in their chambers, saying, how long should I hope on this fashion? When cometh the fruit of the floor of our reward? And unto them Jeremiah the archangel gave them an answer. Right here, Jeremiah the archangel gave them an answer and said, even when the number of the seas is filled in you. So when we fulfill the 1,000 generations, we're in the last of it. This is it. How do we know? The awakening. Everybody know we're in the awakening. I don't care where you talk. The people who believe in Egyptian law, the people who believe in witchcraft, the people who believe in doing magic, they're saying, go across the board. They're talking about awakening. This is the awakening. They can't hide it from us anymore. Second Ezra 7:32. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust, those that dwelleth in silence, and the secret places, chambers and vessels, shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the text frames that the human body, specifically the lineage of Jacob, not as temporary flesh, but as a highly advanced legal storage unit, vessels built to preserve the Ruach HaKodesh safely away from the text altering wicked scribes. The warriors protecting the Kohen's knowledge. So we're both important. One is not better than another. We need both. This is why the Creator chose the house of Jacob and the house of Israel. You needed both. But the house of Israel rebelled in the wilderness. Why? Because they loved Egypt, and in Egypt the men were in charge, and they didn't want to live like that, to be different than the other nations. You can see that in Samuel chapter 8. They were like, we want to be like the other nations. We want to have a king over us. We don't want a queen over us. We want kings over us. And when the chosen young men and soldiers of Israel align with their true purpose, it says it again. Let's read it again. The warriors protecting the Kohen's knowledge. Y'all supposed to be putting boot to eyes. When the chosen young men and soldiers of Israel align with their true purpose, their primary mandate is to form a physical shield around the house of Jacob, the women Kohen's, who hold the raw templates of knowledge, the armor mechanics. When the warriors stand as guardians of the uncorrupt knowledge, they are granted physical dominion over giant anomalies such as the Nephilim, the Raphaim encountered by Joshua and David, the blueprint of Joshua, Yehoshua, in Joshua 10:13, verified in the book of Jasher 88, chapter 88, 63-64. The cosmic disruption, the sun standing still, occurred because the spoken word was delivered in its pristine, uncorrupt frequency. The warriors do not win by physical masses. They win because they are protecting the baseline frequency of the creation held by the house of Jacob. When y'all begin to protect us like y'all supposed to, y'all gonna turn back into those superhero men that we used to know. Where y'all was jumping up on top of buildings from standing sub 10-story buildings, and where y'all was ripping down picking up trees and beating the shit out of people. That kind of stuff. That y'all gonna get y'all strength back when y'all start protecting us the way y'all supposed to. Protecting the women and children like y'all supposed to. Woo woo. Y'all gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I promise you. Man, they gonna see y'all gonna be what my grandma used to say, snatch a something in your back. Something she used to say. I'll think of it in a minute. Y'all gonna be able to just use your hand, y'all gonna be crushing people. And there's nothing they're gonna be able to do. I don't care what weapon they use, no weapon they form against you will not prosper. You're gonna have the strength of Hercules, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it, and they know this. That's why they keep you from protecting us. That's why they keep you going to the other nations, because when you become the man that protects the house of Jacob and protect your offspring, the Creator gonna put a strength in you that no army can do anything about. 10,000. One person's gonna take down 10,000. Remember Levi and Simeon? They took down a whole city by themselves. Imagine what y'all gonna be able to do when y'all protect the house. Feminine sonic frequency, the power of collective vibration. When women join their voices in perfect unison, it is not mere musical entertainment. See, this is why they keep us fighting with each other, women. That's why they bring in these women from these other nations to teach us to be in discord. Teach the house of Jacob to fight with each other. Why? Because when we get together, woo. So when we put our voices together and the men protect the house of Jacob and their offspring, woo. We're gonna turn this world upside down, and we're gonna be at the top, and everybody else gonna be at the bottom, and they don't want us to know this. That's why they send in this other. That's why I had that prayer. In my prayer, I wrote that the women, the women of Jacob, the daughters of Zion, start listening to y'all only, and that the wicked women of the other nations shut their mouth. When you stop listening to them wicked women, man, woo. And when the men start protecting us, woo, it's gonna be on and popping around here. And there ain't nothing they can do to stop it. Once we make up our mind, when we choose, as the books will lay open before you, the books of life and the book of death. That's what it says in Deuteronomy chapter 30. They will lay open before you. And it's your choice, people. Choose you here today, what Joshua said, who you serve. You're going to serve life or you're going to serve death. You don't have no choice but to choose between one or the other. You choose life, you win, you live forever, and you become strong. You become the superheroes that you were made to be, the vessels of superheroes that you were made to be. Or if you choose death, you choose the kryptonite, and you choose to die. You're doing it. It is you who are choosing it. Following the voices of the other nations is your kryptonite. Okay. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dancing. And Miriam answered them, sing ye to Yahuwah. Linguistic frequency. In the Hebrew text, Miriam's song used the words va, ta'an, which means to answer, testify, or respond in match frequency, the sonic wall. When the women sound their voices together, they generate a specific sonic resonance that shatters eternal power networks. This collective vocalization acts as an acoustic pulse. It triggers the collapse of physical barriers, like the Red Sea collapsing on Pharaoh's chariots or the walls of Jericho falling down, y'all, by releasing the stored energy of the Ruach HaKodesh directly into the atmosphere. Remember when Deborah went to go fight? She began to sing a song, and then they started just freaking out and falling. So, the call to escape Babylon, Zechariah 2 and 7, Zechariah 3 context. Before Joshua, the high priest, is stripped of his filthy garments in Zechariah 3, the legal command to the chosen assembly is delivered in Zechariah 2 and 7. Watch this, y'all. Numbered as verse 11 in some Hebrew texts and the Sefer. Deliver thyself. Deliver yourself. We're waiting somebody to deliver us. And the Creator says, deliver yourself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babel or Babylon. You can deliver yourself. The Creator gave us the strength to deliver ourselves out of our bondage, out of our mental bondage. The linguistic action, the phrase, deliver thyself, uses the Hebrew root malat, which means to break out, slip away, leap out of a trap. We can leap out the trap. The Creator gave us the ability. They just hid it from us. The Creator said, you have eyes, but you cannot see. You have ears, and you cannot hear. And you have a mouth, and you will not cry out. This is why in the prayer it says, give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and a mouth that will cry out. Joel chapter 2, chapter 3. Those who cry out in my name will be saved. Those who cry out in my name will be saved. Call for the hay, for the yoke, and the hay. Behold the power that brings life. Hey, cry out for it. And the Creator will open up the trap. And when the trap opens, what happens? You can slip away, you can break out, and you can leap out of that trap. See, by turning off the noise, dwellers, Yoshabet implies sitting down and becoming accustomed to the background frequency of Babylon. To escape, the house of Jacob must consciously tune out the artificial noise, the corrupt alphabet, the modified records, and the theological distractions manufactured by the nations and the fallen entities. If you do this, the Creator says, seek me and you will find me. The two councils, Ezet, Yah, remember I told you, remember this right there? Remember that word right there? Of good and evil. Your connection to Deuteronomy 30 and the Garden of Eden zeroes in on the root, Ezet, or Ezet Yah, which means counsel, advice, and a blueprint design. So the Creator says, do not eat from the advice advice of good and evil. Then the Creator told you, choose this day who you will serve. Then the Creator told you, I set before you the book of evil and the book of good. Choose this day who you gonna serve. The linguistic link to the tree, it's counsel. The tree is actually counsel. It's not a magical piece of fruit. Share its exact root with etza, meaning tree. The mechanics of choice. When the Creator sets before you life and death, in Deuteronomy 30 and 19, I have set before you life and death, Baruchings and cursings. Therefore, choose life. The Creator is instructing the assembly to choose which tree. Which tree? Which what tree? Which what? Advice. Which blueprint? And which counsel? Isaiah chapter 30 says, you chose a counsel, but not of me. You chose the counsel of Egypt. And if you go listen to the brother, the guy that teaches, his name is The Sign of the Conscious Mind. He tells you that in Egypt, the teachings of Egypt came from Thoth. The teachings of Egypt came from Thoth. And the Creator told you, don't go back to Egypt and learn their ways. He tells you in Isaiah 30, you went back to Egypt. You went back to Egypt. The Creator didn't send you back to Egypt. You went back to Egypt. You didn't take the counsel of the Creator here. You took the counsel of the deities of Egypt. This is why I like to see both sides of the story. This is why I like to see both sides of the story. Hale put these people here to tell you what was going on, what they learned, what was given to them. That young man was given that information, downloaded and given all those books so we can hear the sides of the Egyptians. What did the Egyptians learn and where did they get that from? And I keep asking all of them, y'all have all this information about East America, about the Egyptians, about the Assyrians, about the Moabites, about the Moors. I keep asking them, what do y'all know about the West Hebrews, the Western Hebrews? Nobody gives me an answer about the Western Hebrews. So I have to do the research myself about the Western Hebrews. And this is where I'm coming to you with the books for the Western Hebrews. This is the information for the Western Hebrews. They're giving you the information for the Eastern Hebrews. And you give the East side story and the West side story. And in the middle, you get what? The truth. The left and the right. The Creator says the left and the right. You get the left, the information from the left and the information from the right. And in the middle, you get the truth. Who's in the middle? Who's the truth? Our power. Hey. Now, the mechanics of choice. When the Creator sets before you life and death in Deuteronomy 30:19, I have set before you life and death. Blessings, that word is actually Baruchings. To say this word right there is actually wicked. If you call it bliss or blessing, you are actually cursing somebody to die a brutal death when you say that word. So you basically saying this word twice, just a different way. So the word right here is Baruchings. Therefore, choose life. Hey, this is how you say and spell hey in Paleo Hebrew. Hey, 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 that's how you say it. Is instructing the assembly to choose which tree, which source of counsel they will anchor into. From Child Eve to the wilderness, in the beginning, Chava was approached by an external, deceptive counsel. You see that? Echa. And it says the same thing in Isaiah chapter 30, designed to disrupt her frequency in the wilderness of Sinai after escaping the mental bondage and sensory overload of Egypt. I'm going to say it again. Escaping the what? Mental bondage and sensory overload of Egypt. Mitzarim, meaning tight straits or mental restriction. This is a place of what? Tight straits or mental restrictions. The house of Jacob was given the uncorrupt instruction again to choose life is to tune the ears exclusively to the voice of the Creator, filtering out the competing frequencies of the deceptive entities. It's all about frequency, people. Do you understand that your voice is a frequency? And if they told you to be quiet, you're not using your frequencies that can save you, that can help you, that can save yourself, that can help you. All you got to do is cry out. That's all we have to do, people. Get together and cry out against the wickedness of this earth and the frequency. The Creator said, I heard your cry. Do you hear that sound? I ain't even ever heard that one before. That's a new one. I don't even know where that came from. If you cry out, I heard your cries, and I did not ignore it. That's Psalms 102. And you in Egypt, in Exodus, I heard your cry, and I did not ignore you. We got to know what name, we got to know what for. And we got to understand and understand. You got to understand and understand, not understand. Submit. Understanding is to submit yourself to the frequency of the fallen deities. You heard that? And then it says 222 on my phone. See, can I screenshot it? What does it say right there? Now, it says, Egypt, aka Mitzrayim, is a tight strait or a mental restriction. The house of Jacob was given the uncorrupt instructions again. So we was given to us again. The Creator is so righteous, y'all. Our Creator is so righteous and so merciful and so just. Giving us the instructions again. To choose life is to tune your ears exclusively to the voice of the Creator, filtering out the competing frequencies of the deceptive entities. Paleo Hebrew meaning of the armor of Micah 4:13. When the daughters of Zion is commanded to mobilize her troops, her weapons are upgraded with two specific metals, iron and brass or bronze. In Paleo Hebrew pictograph, these metals represent functional, unyielding barriers. Iron, brazel, Paleo Hebrew letters bat, 10th house, resh, head chief, Zion, weapon cut, lamed, staff, authority. Pictograph function, the weapons of authority that protects the head of the house. The shielding metric, iron represents the highest density of physical restriction. When the daughter of Zion horn is made of iron, her spoken declaration carry a crushing, dense weight that shatters the light. Deceptive arguments of external nations. Brass bronze, no choset. Paleo Hebrew letters noon. Seed sprout life. Chet, wild fence. Shin, teeth press consume. Ta, covenant sign. Pictograph function, the protective wall that presses out and consumes everything attempting to penetrate the seed of the covenant. So it does what? The protective wall that presses out and consumes everything attempting to penetrate the seed of the covenant. Who is the seed of the covenant? The house of Jacob. You can find that in Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 5 in some versions. And some other versions, it might be verse 3 or 4. The cleansing matrix. Brass is a resonant metal used to conduct an echo sound. It acts as an acoustic shield, deflecting foreign frequencies while amplifying the clean vibrations inside the camp. Hallelujah. I love that. Thank you, Haya. Frequency terms of the singing women in the book of Yasher. When the women of the house of Jacob sing together, the book of Yasher uses specific language to show that their singing is a functional tool used to realign the camp and clear out a negative spiritual interference. And I just got another download. I don't know how I'm going to add that in here. I'm going to try. Joshua 56, 24 through 26. The matrix of victory. When recounting the triumphs of the family of Jacob, the text describes the women using string instruments, timbrels, and voices not for passive entertainment, but to make a joyful acoustic sound. The term Rena, the primary root for their singing, is Rena. Etymologically, this does not mean a casual melody. It means a piercing, shrill cry or vibrant shout that cuts through the atmosphere. Ooh, hallelujah. Sonic demolitions. Just as Miriam's collected response, Bat-ta'an. Bat-ta'an means what? To respond to the Creator hair. Alter the air pressure over the Red Sea. The Rena of the women in Yasher acts as a targeted pulse. When the women sing in harmony, they create a protected sonic dome. This wall of sound prevents the deceptive counsel, Etzah, of the nations from entering the minds of the young warriors, keeping their focus sharp so they can take down giant systems. Hallelujah. Oh, I cannot wait for this. That's the giant system. So to take down the giant system. So when we sing in unison, it will take down the giant systems. Let me see, how can I add the other thing in? I don't think I can in this. I'm gonna have to do it in a different. Should we look at the exact Hebrew spelling of Mitzrayim, Egypt, to break down how it represents mental bondage? Hell yeah, I want to look that up. Do you want to trace Second Israel describe the physical gathering of peaceful multitude away from the noise of the kings? No. Would you like to map out the root letters of Chabai to see how her name relates to the breath and vocalizing the frequency? I might. Let's just go through this one right here. I'm tired and I want to eat a snack and go to bed. And it's 10 o'clock here, so it's like midnight where y'all live. 'Cause I'm in Colorado. The Paleo-Hebrew breakdown of Mitzrayim. The Hebrew word for Egypt is Mitzrayim. In conventional language studies, it is treated as a dual form, now meaning two straits or double distress, referring to Upper and Lower Egypt. However, when we strip away the geographic and political labels to examine the Paleo-Hebrew pictograph, the root structure reveals a literal blueprint for a system of mental bondage, sensory containment, and spiritual restriction. Here is exact stroke by stroke breakdown of the letters in their ancient pictograph forms: Mem, Tzad, Resh, Yod, Mem. It don't have a Tab or a Lamed or a Hey in that at all. Wow. That means Yah has nothing to do with that. Picture of waves of water, meaning living water, chaos, a massive flow, or a vast fluid mind. Picture of a trail, a fish hook, a man lying on his side waiting, meaning to hunt, catch, trap, hook, or bring into a narrow path. Wow. The picture of the head of a man, meaning the chief, the mind, the thoughts, and the primary governor. Picture of an arm and closed hand, meaning a hand at work, a physical deed, effort, and an active mechanism. The closing means sophet, final letter form, represent a closed boundary, meaning a body of water contained a finite space and a total immersion. The functional definition: how Mitzrayim traps the mind. When we read these pictograph concepts from right to left as functional sequence, Mitzrayim translate directly to the fluid mind is hunted and hooked, trapping the head and thoughts through deceptive works in a completely closed loop of containment. And the guide that teaches the sign of the conscious mind, the signs for the conscious mind, he says that Thoth is a trickster. Thoth is a trickster, aka the word that was in the beginning, aka JC, aka Mastema, aka Lucifer, aka Horus, aka he comes in different forms, has many names. He has many. Go look at some of his teachers. He'll tell you who Thoth is. And he'll tell you that Lucifer and JC is Thoth. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so this is the mechanical definition of mental bondage. Egypt was not just a physical land mass of brick and mortar. It was an advanced physiological and vibration grids engineered by the nation to capture the human frequency it works by. And he said that Thoth is the word. Thoth speaks things into fruition. He's something that's, he didn't say fruition, but that's the word I could think of. That Thoth, and that we do it too. We are made in the image of our Creator. By us speaking things, we can speak it into coming. Your grandma, he said, your grandma says to speak it into existence. So Thoth was able to speak the good and the evil into existence. Now it was up to us to figure out if Thoth was tricking us, right? The Creator laid the books before you, gave you the law, statutes, commandments, said this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. Now go out there and choose. Get on out there and choose. You push the bird out the nest. Do you fly or do you fail? It's your choice. This is the mechanical definition of mental bondages. Egypt was not just a physical land mass of brick and mortar. It was an advanced physiological and vibrational grid engineered by the nations to capture the human frequency. It works by hooking the senses, capturing your attention with external noises, illusions, and artificial anxieties. Restricting the governed, forcing the head, the mind, thoughts of the house of Jacob to process reality only through the survival mechanism dictated by the captor, the working of the closed loop, trapping your energy in a repetitive cycle of labor, false timelines, counterfeit doctrines, so that you cannot perceive the pure word of the Creator. They got you getting a job, doing all these things, taking away from your house, doing all this stuff, and telling you, when you die, you'll be saved. No, you can be saved now. Breaking the tight string. The root inside Mitzrayim is Tazar, Tzar, which means a narrow throat, a tight vine, a siege, or a distressor. So they keep you all stressed out. So I was watching somebody, they keep you traumatized. I don't know who it was said it. They keep you traumatized. Then they feed you things that constantly traumatize you. So they traumatize you as a kid, right? They traumatize you with abuse and school and all this kind of stuff. The school is, do you know that to educate means to turn you into an animal? So a school is a zoo. And it turns you into an animalistic way. What? Instinct. It teach you instinct like animals and instead of teaching you reasoning. We are reasoning. We have the ability to choose. But they teach you, they beat instinct into you and beat out the ability to choose, to weigh a situation and figure out what is right and what is wrong. They beat that out of you and put in you instinct. And that's why this world is gone to hell. We cannot live instinctual. We have to choose because every situation is different. And we got to go in there and weigh the good and the bad of it and figure it out. Somebody needs help, you should help them. Children need help, you should help them. You shouldn't shrug your shoulders and say, oh well. You shouldn't do that. I told you don't know what justice is because they taught you how not to be judged, to judge between a situation. Okay? Breaking the tight straight. The root inside Mitzrayim Tazar, which means a narrow throat, a tight bind, a siege, or a distressor. When the Creator brought the house of Jacob out of Egypt, the physical departure was only the first step. The crucial objective, reestablished in Deuteronomy 30 and Zechariah 3, was to break the internal siege of Tazar by commanding the assembly to deliver them thyself from Babylon and tuning out the noise of the nation. The Creator is instructing you to open the closed mem, unhook the Tazar from your mind, and restore the rest, your thoughts, back to the pristine frequency of the Ruach HaKodesh. To advance this text critical map, let me know if you would like to map the root letters of Chavab E to see how her name relates to the breath, life, and vocalized frequency. Analyze how second Esdras described the physical gathering of the peaceful multitude away from the noise of these trapping systems, or isolate Hebrew words for noise and uproar of the nations to see how it acts in frequency disruptor. Let's do the frequency disruptor. Yeah, my dog's snoring. He snores like an old man. The Hebrew word for noise and uproar of the nation, to see how the text describes the strategic frequency of disruption used by the nation to drown out the pristine words of the creators. We isolate two primary Hebrew words used across the prophets and the Sefer, Sha'on and Haman. Sha'on, the crescending acoustic clash. So, clash of the titans. This word is specifically used to describe the chaotic, artificial roar manufactured by the nations to cause panic, internal static, and mental paralysis within the house of Jacob. Text example, Isaiah 17:12-13. Woe to the multitude of many people, which makes a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of the nations that make a rushing like the rushing of the mighty waters. The nations shall rush like the rushing Sha'on of many waters. They're going to come and do it. When the Creator says water, that's laws. They got a sea of different laws, and they got rivers of different laws. That's why the Creator says you're going to walk across on dry shod. Why? You're not going to have to get baptized. You're not going to have to get dipped in the water of these other nations, because you're going to have the law that sustains you by the river like a willow tree. We're going to stand strong by the rushing rivers like a willow tree. And we will not die, we will flourish. When you see a whipping willow standing by the river, remember it's Yah who placed you there. Okay, anyway. I was singing a country song, but a lot of people don't know country, so they don't know what I'm referencing. So the ancient pictograph function of Shanan. Shin, picture of teeth, meaning to press, crush, consume, or sharply repeat. Aleph, the picture of an ox head, meaning strong, primary power, or an invading force. Vav, picture of a tent peg hook, meaning to bind, connect, or attach permanently. Noon, final noon form, picture of a seed or activity, meaning counting life or continuing life a movement. Continuing life a movement. The noon, that's the continued life. Final noon, picture of a seed or activity, meaning continuing life, a movement. The frequency disruption mechanics, reading sequentially. Shannon represents a sharp, crushing pressure driven by an invading power that binds itself directly into your ongoing mental activity and focus. It is not a natural sound. It is a weaponized acoustic clash designed to override your nervous system, causing your thoughts to freeze so you can no longer hear the quiet internal counsel, etc., of the Ruach HaKodesh. See, they have a voice that is taking you where you cannot hear the Ruach HaKodesh. This is why I ask the Creator all every day, enter me out of the ways of this world. Enter me here. I fall out of agreement with the ways of this world. I renounce the ways of this world, and I repent for participating with the ways of this world knowingly and unknowingly. And I ask the Creator, fill me with your walk, fill me with your talk, and fill me with your ways, fill me with your Ruach HaKodesh. All praise to the Creator here. I pray this every day, y'all. Hamon, the tumult, low frequency buzz, while Sha'on is a sudden rushing crash. Hamon is the continuous low-level background noise, confusion, and crowd hum of Babylonian society. It represents the collective vibration of a world disconnected from the Creator. Did you see that Mitzrayim has no connection to the Creator here? None. It does not have a tav. It does not have a hey. And it does not have a lamed in it. Doesn't. Doesn't. Where is it? Right here. Is it this next one? Yeah, it doesn't have a lamed. It doesn't have a resh. I'm sorry, not a resh. It doesn't have a tav. And it doesn't have a hey. Doesn't have it in there. So let's keep going. We're almost done. Because I'm at 2 hours and 45 minutes. It was at Haman. The frequencies of Jerusalem mechanics. Haman translate pictograph to breathe out words and sights. So to breathe out words and sights that release an unceasing wave of chaos, and to hook and continually manipulate the mind of the listener. So witchcraft is manipulation, right? That's going to be the next question. This is an exact noise of Babylon that the text Zechariah 2:7 tells you to escape. Haman is modern media, false religion, doctrines, political theater, societal panic. It acts as an energetic blanket of white noise. That's why they're always trying to bait us, y'all. They always creating these emergencies. Oh, it's going to be a storm. Oh, it's going to be an earthquake. Oh, the stock market can go up, down. They creating panic. And they keep your mind away from hearing the Ruach HaKodesh. But they can't do it no more because it's not working. Systematically, at the same time, our so-called black people decided we don't want nothing to do with y'all. Your government, we don't want nothing to do with y'all no more. We don't want nothing to do with y'all no more. And they have tried everything to get us out on the street to fight and freak us out, talking about there's finna be World War III and this, that, and the other and all this kind of stuff. And the heat is raising up on them. And it says in the last days, when we get tired of this, their frequency, that the sun will get 7 times brighter, and at 7 days, bright as 7 days, and then the moon will get bright as the sun. And the planet is going to heat up and it's going to kill off. The greatest day is going to be by fire. What do you think fire is? The side of fire. It's going to kill off these other nations. As long as they keep us at a low frequency, the sun is low. How do I know this? It says this in the book of Levi, the testaments of the patriarchs. You go to the book of Levi, and I think it's chapter 2, and it says the reason it looks gloomy is because Baal, aka Moloch, aka Thoth, aka Jesus, aka because they are here with their frequency, and the reason why it's not as bright as the other heavens. This is a heaven, earth is a heaven. The other heavens is because the frequency that we're under, they're lying frequency. When we get tired of it, our sun will get bright. It's 7 days, and our moon will get bright as the sun. It will never be dark again. And then it says in Malachi 3, there'll be healing in the sun. It says in Isaiah, there'll be healing in the sun. It says in the book of Jubilee, there will be healing in the sun. The sun will heal. We will heal from everything. But we have to mentally want it. You're choosing to live in this damn harsh world. You're choosing it. It's your choice. The Creator gave you the ability to choose it. You can bring it to fruition. Speak it, the life back into the earth. And condemn the wickedness and the abominations of this earth that cause low frequency. And the frequency of the sun will become as bright as it's supposed to be in the frequency. We're doing this. The frequency of the moon will come to the frequency that it's supposed to be. And we'll go back to our original angel state. Go back to our original angel state. We're walking angels on earth and we don't even know it. Because they have told us we're human beings and we're angel. It says in the book of Joshua 10:13, that the Jacob women and the Israelites are Hillel. Do you know what Hillel is? We're Hillel. We're angel stock. But we walked away from it to go back to Egypt, to listen to the trickster. This is the exact noise of Babylon that the text in Zechariah 2:7 tells us to escape. Haman is the modern media. It's the false religious doctrines, people. It's the political theater. It's theater. It's all fake. And societal panic, which is all fake. What do they call them? Something actors. They hire these people to do this stuff, to get us stressed out, so they can keep us in a lower vibration, so they can stay here. Because as long as we're in a low vibration, they stay on top. If we get back and do right and start rejecting them, we go back to top. If your spiritual vessel is constantly vibrating at the frequency of the nations, Haman, it cannot resonate with the high, clear frequency of the coherence preserved knowledge. Turn off the noise and choose life, people. In Deuteronomy 30:19, when the choice between life and death is given, it hinges entirely on a single acoustic action, obeying the voice of the Creator here. To obey the voice, you must systematically collapse the Shannon and the Haman of the external world. When the women of the house of Jacob raised their collective voice in Renah, as Miriam did in Exodus 15, and as recorded in the book of Yasher, they are not adding to the noise. They are emitting a laser-focused harmonic counter frequency that cuts right through the Shannon of the enemy, neutralizing the spiritual static and creating a silence. We're changing the channel. Instead of listening to 88.9, we'll listen to 100% Yah. Creating a silent, protected space where the warriors can see clearly and execute their purpose. Mapping out the root letters Chavab, analyzing second address, or examine exact Hebrew mechanics of how the walls of Jericho were taken down. No, I think that's enough information for today. It gives you a lot to think about and a lot to research. I love you all, and I love Hale with all my heart and all my soul. And I thank Hale for giving me the ability to choose. As Uncle Joshua said, choose here today who you serve. But as for me and my house, Joshua told you that the house, his house, the house of Jacob, serves the Creator Hale and Hale alone. All praises to Hale, the first to last, the beginning and the end, the Aleph and the Tav. Hallelujah. Woo!